Happy birthday to you, Rickey. I must have told you before that a huge part of the direction I had taken in my early work as a journalist had been inspired by you and the work ethic you brought to the profession. Though I had known about you before I entered journalism, since my uncle, Reverend Roy Nehall of the CCC, had spoken a lot about you in my teenage years. We only began communing as fellow journalists during your time at Caribbean Contact. You probably did not realize it then, how much you had influenced my decision to enter the field of journalism. And it's now been over 40 years. You soon became a source of guidance on the practice of journalism in our small Caribbean space, but also in the vast universe of professional values. Perhaps even more significantly, your exemplary work as a press freedom advocate provided a pathway to my own involvement in the cause at the leadership level. This, to me, has been your decades-long birthday gift to the rest of us. Happy birthday to you, dear Rickey.
You from Kingston, Jamaica, Rickey, and happy birthday. I'm very, very happy to be able to join in the celebration with your family and friends across this region, a region that you've given so much to over the years, over the decades, not just as a journalist, but as a good human being. From Guyana, but you're really a Caribbean son. And I know you've endured a great deal in the profession, but I can only remember the good things, particularly your commitment to the field of journalism in particular. You've done so much for us, such a very powerful example. You've gone through the toughest of times, and of course, you've had your high points as well. And we all joined with you and endured with you and suffered with you quietly sometimes, and other times we've raised our voices in support. But I think this is a time to celebrate you, celebrate your family who persevered and giving you the kind of support that has allowed you to endure and be really one of the best examples of a Caribbean man. So we salute you, Rickey. Have a great day. Have a great time. And thanks to technology, we can really join in the celebration.
Hey, Rickey Does. Happy birthday. Happy 86th birthday. It's been a pleasure working with you, knowing you, and learning from you. I learned a lot, especially when we covered CARICOM meetings. Just in case you notice, I said at the start, happy birthday, Rickey Doss. And I know you know it's only one person in the region who normally would call you Rickey Doss, and that's the person from St. Lucia, Dominica, Barbados, and perhaps Trinidad, certainly not Guyana. Here's to you, Rickey. Here's wishing you a very happy birthday. And as I said, I learned a lot, especially when we covered CARICOM meetings together. Have a good one, Rickey. Happy birthday.
Hi, Rickey. This is your favorite girl, Kmar Jordan. I just want to say happy birthday to you. Rickey, you've been such an inspiration. I think I still have 2 of your books, by the way. Thank you for all your help and development. I remember my overseas assignment in St. Lucia, sitting with you in the commentary box. It was such an honor for me as a young journalist to come up under your hand and to have the opportunities to work alongside stalwarts like yourself. And then I went off to study. I remember you helping me through my thesis process and sharing literature and advice. So thank you. I owe a lot from you in terms of all that you've done for my career, and I am indebted to you forever. Thank you. Enjoy your birthday, and God's blessings on you now and always.
Rickey Lion. That's what I've been told Singh means. Male lion. You are the lion of Caribbean journalism. I knew none before you. I knew of none before you. But I met your work through Caribbean Contact and a nascent Caribbean news agency, or CAN Reuters as we knew it those times. And that was as I plodded through as a trainee in the trenches of Jamaican journalism. There's the aphorism that journalists are the first drafters of history. but yours will not be viewed as mere draft. Yours will be complete works, cited alongside the source documents of Caribbean politics and sociology, and works that help to recreate the Caribbean as an idea that existed mostly in music and in cricket, but given life through our communication media. Your work was thorough and fair, and you stuck faithfully to your beliefs in social justice for all people of the region, but especially for the working people. Happy birthday, Ricky Lyon. You are a faithful Lion Dean of the profession of journalism in the Caribbean. Valerie, your favorite editor, your most trusted editor, also says happy birthday.
He was a kind of godfather in the media business, in the regional media business for most of us. Anybody who encountered him would talk about his generosity and his breadth of understanding of things having to do with Caribbean development, political and social development. I had gotten to know him a little bit when he was working in Trinidad, with the Catholic News, or the case may be, and he was close with Owen Batiste. And when I started covering regional affairs, he's somebody I latched onto in a big way. He would. My thing about him is that I used to watch how people would follow him and follow his lead whoever he was tracking down, wherever he was going. There were always people who felt that wherever he's going, that is where the story is, and most of us locked into that in a serious way. And he had no problem sharing whatever he knew and giving people tips about how to go about doing stuff. He is continuing to be just a different kind of human being. Some people would cherish spending time with him and talking with him about one thing or another. So I think he's high up there in terms of Caribbean journalists and people who were role models for those of us who are coming up. And one of the lessons I take from that is how we have to pass on our knowledge and our experience, strength, and hope, as you would say, to others coming behind us. That's just some of how I regard him, and his children regard me as a younger brother, or as a brother of theirs, and a younger son of his, and one of his children. So we develop a bond because of how they saw their father's relation with me.
I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Ricky, for your immense contribution, not only to journalism, to Caribbean integration, to the integration of Caribbean journalists, but even also to my career. We might not always have agreed on every single thing, but I can at least count on you being in my corner at a particular time when I needed you most. And this was in the corridor of the Caribbean News Agency one morning, where I clearly was having a very bad reaction to taking too much of a particular cough medicine, and you thought that I might be having a heart attack because you had gone through that experience yourself, and you took it upon yourself to rush me to hospital, to demand attention from the triage nurses at the hospital accident and emergency, and to make sure that I was getting the best of care. As it turns out, it was a false alarm, but nothing about that particular day, about you being there for me, as you have been for so many of us, could be false. I appreciate that. We appreciate you. We thank you particularly for your creation, jointly with others, of CAMWork, which has led to the Association of Caribbean Media Workers. We thank you for your sterling contribution also to truth-telling, to speaking truth to power, particularly at Caribbean Contact. And we want to thank you for enlarging our worldview, even if that included 13 or now 14 or other countries that call themselves the Caribbean community in your weekly columns. We owe you a huge debt. We do hope that there will be others who will see themselves as the next Rickey Singhs, speaking truth to power, fearlessly, fairly, and looking out for each other. as you've done. Thank you, Rickey.
Rickey, my brother, first of all, happy birthday. Second of all, please excuse my informal attire. I've just come from the gym, and as we say in Guyana, the spirit take me, and I had to do this recording here and now without getting dressed up in a suit and tie, but as a comrade, if I can call you that, who wore a shirt jack for much of your working life, and not the Conte variety of the long sleeve variety of the shirt jack, the proper variety, the short sleeved shirt jack with matching trousers, as I recall. Rickey, you have been a trailblazer to many of us Caribbean journalists of a younger generation. I remember, even before I got into journalism, looking forward to getting the latest edition of the Caribbean Contact to see what Rickey Singh had written in his usual acerbic and fearless manner. And I remember, and this is where our paths first crossed professionally, when Hugh Croskill, another great Caribbean journalist like yourself, recruited me to join the team at BBC Caribbean Service in London. We'd come to you often for analytical takes on various political developments in the Caribbean. And you always marshaled your thoughts so well that, as I recall, we never needed to edit you heavily, because you said your piece very, very well and fluently. And I thank you for that, because it gave me less work at our office in London. So, Rickey, I hope that you've had a chance to enjoy something of a semi-retirement. I know that you never really hung up your boots, so to speak, in full. But I wanted to, I was very pleased to be asked to be part of this tribute, and I wanted to say my piece in paying tribute to a venerated elder statesman of our trade.